Welcome back to our channel. Thank you for joining. Today we're going to talk about something that we see happening more and more. It has to do with the market. It has to do with a lot of people wanting to move maybe to a different state, perhaps Florida. We have had a huge influx of people moving to Florida over the past year or so. And when you are from out of state and you want to move to a new state, you can't always hop on a plane and get to the house, your dream home that you want to look at right away. So what needs to happen? You might have to be in a situation where you are buying a house sight unseen. I know this sounds insane, but we have so many buyers doing it, and it's kind of something that needs to happen in this market. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that. So let's go. All right, so first things first, we are going to talk about what exactly does it mean if you're going to buy a property sight unseen. So basically, it really means that you are not able to physically go into the home before you buy it. And I know you're saying this is crazy because it really is one of the biggest purchases that you could make in your life, to be honest. Most of you have bought a home before, or maybe know people who have bought a home, and you know that it is a huge purchase, very important. So there are a lot of things that you want to put into place to make sure that everything goes smoothly and that the result comes out to what you want it to be. So buying a property sight unseen means that you may be in, say, Chicago, and you're ready to buy a home in Southwest Florida, for example, and you have not been into that property at all. Now, why is this happening more and more these days? So the market, we've talked about it. We've talked about this since the middle of 2020. It is very crazy right now. Of course, it's a seller's market. So that means if you find something, you're doing a little search, probably on Zillow, and it's a home that you were really interested in, you do not have the luxury of waiting any amount of time usually in order to snatch that house up if you are going to be the one that buys it or wins at a bid when it comes to the house. So you have to really make sure that you're entrusting in a professional and somebody who you trust to help you along with that process. So we're going to talk about some tips that you can use if you need to buy a property sight unseen. All right, so what is the process like if you are going to go ahead and try this, buying a property sight unseen? So you mainly are going to go through most of those same processes that you would if you were to buy a home, being able to physically go into the home. However, you need to make sure that you maybe think about some of these realtors that you know and trust, or you feel like you can put your trust in. Make sure you have conversations with them and understand that they have your best interest at heart. We on the Sam team will always have your best interest at heart, just so you know. And have that person do probably a FaceTime video with you as they tour through the house. Make sure that when you are going through this process with your realtor, ask every single question and more that you might want to know about the house. As they are kind of giving you the tour through the house, make sure that you are looking at any areas that you want to know more about, and having them really explore it. And remember that the realtor should remember this, at least I do. I have done a lot of properties sight unseen and helping my buyers get into those homes. It's something that's really important to remember on both ends. Is as the realtor, you want to make sure that you are really taking the camera and pulling it back as far as possible so they can really see the big picture and also see things up close as well. Just remember that they are seeing things through this size phone or tablet. So it's really important that they are able to see the entire picture of everything that there is to offer in the home. So when it comes to getting into a home that you feel like you are ready to buy sight unseen, of course, you are going to go through all those evaluation processes as you FaceTime with your realtor, as you go through, virtual tours, which are often offered on most homes that are out there on the MLS anyway. and lots of pictures, of course, as well. Another big important thing that you would want to ask your realtor to do is not just go inside the house and show the whole house, but make sure that they are really scoping out the entire neighborhood and everything there is to offer around this house. You want to get a feel for what this all looks like. You know, another thing that you could of course do is go ahead and get on the Google Maps and go down and see what kind of pictures you're able to see as well. But really entrust in your realtor to show you the big picture of everything that is involved. All right, so that process, after you get into the house and you feel like, okay, this is the one I want, I'm going to go ahead and go with this. You go through the normal buying process, which involves, of course, if you're going to borrow money, you need to get pre-approved. You have to have a pre-approval letter ready to go when it's time to submit that offer so that your realtor can accompany the offer with that. You are going to put in an offer, and once you go back and forth, or maybe it could be something that is accepted right away, you are going to go under an executed contract. After that, you're going to put up some earnest money in cash. It is kind of like good faith money is what earnest money is, to show the seller that you are a serious buyer. That is going to need to be ready to go in 3 days after an executed contract. Now, that stays very safe for 10 days, however long you choose to do for your inspection period. Usually it's about 10 days. So that earnest money is completely safe. The only thing that you really are paying for at this point is the inspection, and you're not going to get your money back for the inspection. Although it is very important that you do an inspection every time. So go through that inspection period, and this is where your realtor really has to step in and help you as well. They have to go in there, and they basically are representing you completely on your behalf because you're not in that space. What we like to typically do is we like to go over and meet the inspector at the house. Typically, we let them get their stuff done. It takes them a couple hours to go through the entire house and really do all the inspections, the actual inspection, like a wind mitigation, and all of those things. And then at that point, what I will do is I will FaceTime with the buyer and offer them to talk to the inspector, because the inspector is the expert who really knows exactly everything that he saw with what's going on with the house, so that any questions that the buyer has, they can present that to the inspector as well, and the inspector will be able to answer any of those questions. Of course, we are there as support, and we are there to hear the entire conversation, so that after that you can get to a point where you are deciding on how you would like to proceed with further negotiations, if there are any things that you would like to ask for, concessions or things like that. After that process, you are officially under contract. And again, it is up to your realtor to keep you in tabs and let you know exactly what's going on with everything throughout the whole process, with the title company, getting your title clear and all of those things. But the title company will take care of all of those for you in the process. Then, with no problems, sometimes things come up, you get to a point where you are closing and you are officially a homeowner who has gone through the process of becoming a buyer, buying a house sight unseen. So let's talk about whether or not it is really a good idea to try to buy a house sight unseen. Of course, everything has risks, especially when you're investing money into one of the biggest purchases that you might ever make. However, moving quickly on a house, which is something that you really kind of just have to do in this current market anyway, it could be beneficial because you might not have to get into a place where you are having those types of bidding wars that we have seen often. So if you're able to move quickly because you are saying, hey, I'm going to buy it sight unseen, I know my realtor is able to get in there right away, that's been on the market for 1 day, and we can do the FaceTime and then I can make the decision. It could be in your benefit. But of course, you really have to feel comfortable with that person that you are entrusting to show you and let you know everything there is to know about the house, because you're not able to step foot in the house. I personally have never bought a house sight unseen. I do think it's a little bit intimidating, but knowing that you have somebody that is really working on your behalf can really help you in this process. So today we really just have to think about the fact that this is kind of the way things are changing right now. Everything is available online videos. The virtual tours are wonderful. That is a great option to have, to be able to get that extra look at what is going on inside the house and what you can really expect once you go through the whole process of buying a home. So if you get to a point where you have to buy a house sight unseen, it absolutely can be done, but just make sure you go through all of those processes with your realtor so that you will be able to, be happy with your purchase at the end of the day. All right. Well, thanks for listening. And I hope that you learned something valuable about buying a house sight unseen and, just getting a real feel for what's really going on in the market today, because it's a doozy. But we are here to help, of course, anytime. So if you are thinking about coming down to Southwest Florida or perhaps having a second home down here, there are a lot of people buying second homes, having them used as an investment property, because there are a lot of people that like to vacation down here, believe it or not, down here in paradise, and using it as that investment property until they are able to get to a point where they can live down here full time. So if you're interested in doing something like that, let us know. I like to think that we are experts at helping people to buy a house sight unseen. We've had success quite a bit already. So anyway, thank you for listening. And if you have had any experiences with buying a house sight unseen, if you would, put them down in the comments so we can get a conversation going about it. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you hit that like button, and we would love a subscribe as well, so that you can keep in tune with everything that's going on with the real estate market and living in Southwest Florida as well. All right, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.